Only one group dares to challenge this intergalactic threat, the Super Friends.
Hey guys, Res the Collector here with another action figure review. Today we're taking a look at something I've had for quite a while, and that is the Capullo Designer Series Nightwing. Now, of course, this is Nightwing in his new 52 look. As you can see, we've got the red on the chest and shoulders and back instead of the blue, which had been his pre-New 52. It may have changed right before the New 52 came out. I'm not exactly sure about that. Now, I have had this figure for quite a while, and I just hadn't got a chance to get his review done. So you've probably seen quite a few people's take on this figure. Now, there was nothing I had against the figure in leaving the review this long. It was just that, as you guys know, I'm primarily a Superman collector, so Superman figures took precedence over this one. Now, when I got this, I actually had a pretty big haul that day. I got the 4 out of the 5 crime syndicates. I picked up him and Talon. I got a Superman, a Batman. I got a whole lot of stuff that day. And he's basically the last piece. Again, nothing against him. I was actually really happy. Out of the Capullo series, the first series, the series of 4, which was Batman, Nightwing, Riddler, and Talon, I really only wanted 2 out of the series, which was Nightwing and Talon. Talon was the one I was really looking for, but as Nightwing was there, I decided I really wanted to get him as well because I didn't have a Nightwing in my collection. Other than the 3.75 Injustice Nightwing and the little Squinkies thing. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I did have the Earth 2 Dick Grayson from the Crisis series by DC Direct. But I had nothing as him as a 6-inch or 6.75, whatever this is, representation of Nightwing, and I really wanted one to kind of flesh out and fill out my Batman family. Now, a lot of people had problems. This was when we were getting a lot of major issues out of DC Collectibles. Hopefully, a lot of those have cleared themselves up. I know that there's still a lot of people getting broken figures, getting figures with terrible paint applications. I just got yet another one myself. My second Superman Earth 2, the one I was keeping in package, his paint apps are terrible. So DC Collectibles is still having issues. I know a lot of us have contacted them. I've contacted them multiple times and have not heard one word back from them. A little frustrating. I just sent them an email again about a week and a half ago. I sent it to a couple of big people at DC and customer service, and I never got a response to it. And this was like a huge email, and it was, you know, very professionally worded, basically about all the QC issues. I gave them a very short list of issues I myself have had, and by short list I mean there was like a list of like 15, but that was a short list. So this came out again while we were deep in those issues. I know that at least one person got a broke version of him, and it was broken in the crotch region where the legs would just swing together and weren't independent. Mine, however, is in decent shape. There is just a couple of issues, but we'll go over that as we do the review. Of course, again, I've said this is Nightwing. New 52, of course, Nightwing is Dick Grayson, the first Robin, and I believe that continues into the New 52. A lot of changes were made with New 52, but I'm 100% sure that Dick Grayson was still the first Robin. And of course, as he got older, he took on the moniker of Nightwing. And he's gone through a few costume changes. His original Nightwing costume, and you gotta figure this came out in the late 70s, I want to say, or mid 70s, maybe even early 80s, but it was a very 70s 80s costume. It had like this big collar and very much more brighter colors, I suppose, for somebody who was Robin. A lighter blue isn't exactly a bright color. You were walking around as basically the target for Batman, so he could sneak up on people. Just kind of big red outfit, and then Batman sneaking up in the darkness. So I guess he was used to brighter colors. But he's gone through a few costume changes. That was his initial costume, and then it had yellow on it. It was a very, I guess, cool costume for the times. And that actually, the first appearance of Nightwing was in Teen Titans, or New Teen Titans, or just Titans. Who knows? That book went through so many name changes. I do have it, and I've actually got it signed by George Perez, the first appearance of Nightwing. It was in the Judas contract. There were 3 issues involving him and Deathstroke, and it was where basically he decided to put down the Robin name and legacy and become a hero in his own right, that kind of step out of the shadow of Batman, and he became Nightwing. And he has stayed Nightwing for since that time, which whatever that was, 80s, 70s, whatever. He has kept up that name of Nightwing. He's actually become Batman and then given that mantle back to Bruce Wayne. The character's gone through a lot of changes, and now he's not even Nightwing anymore. Now he's like Agent Dick Grayson or Agent Grayson, and DC is really screwing with him hardcore, and now he's like a secret agent. And you think they would have learned their lesson when they did that with Wonder Woman back in the 70s. Of course, they didn't really have any powers to take away from Dick, but you think they would have still learned their lesson. Nightwing, Dick Grayson, Robin, however you want to think of him, is an amazing character. Now, maybe this new vision, this new way they're going with them is going to be great. I am stubborn and hard-headed, and my comic knowledge is still stuck in the basically the Silver Age, and whatever they called after the Silver Age, because it was called the Modern Age back before, and I don't know what the hell it's called now. But Silver Age, and then, you know, the reboot after Crisis, the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's where my knowledge is sticking, because honestly, I am not a millionaire and cannot afford to purchase comic books because comic books are fucking expensive. But I have rambled on for 7 minutes on the history of this character. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at the action figure, because that is what we're here to talk about. Ooh, look. Alright, the action figure itself is, like I said, from the Capullo series. It is one of 4. Very stylized version of him. All of them kind of have these kind of outstretched legs instead of being more of a straight-legged character. Now, I do like this look. There was some figures that were put out, and I believe they were actually Mattel figures, but that had the really far out, you know, stretched out, like they were basically a horse could ride between their legs or whatever, and heavily muscled, and that was a really shitty look for figures. But this one really isn't too bad. It's not the sleek look of the New 52. He's a little bit more, or the DC Collectibles, the New 52 figures, especially if you see the new Nightwing, he's a little more sleeker looking, a little more streamlined. This guy's a little bit more bulky to really go along with Capullo's artwork. And he's got a decent amount of articulation. Let's go ahead and get a 360 on him, just so we can see a good look at that costume. As you can see, that red does go all the way around. Chest, shoulders, back, and arms. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop this when it gets back around to the front. I need to grease the wheels on here again a little bit. Alright. So we got a good 360. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. He is wearing a variation of the Domino mask. It's got a little bit different points and spikes on it. And then it's got that more of a nose piece on there. It is more of a turtleneck looking costume. Now, as I was talking about QC, you can see that on the chest here, there is a gouge in mine. And obviously that was a factory issue, as it is fully painted. It's not a gouge that was taken out afterwards. The figure construction, on mine at least, is fairly decent. I do like the face sculpt. It does kind of scream Dick Grayson to me. With the hair, the mask, and everything like that. Very nice sculpting. The sculpt is good overall. Kind of downplayed, while making him a bulkier figure, it still kind of downplayed the over muscled look, which is kind of difficult to obtain, to kind of downplay the ripped look, but still make him a bulky guy. So they did a really, really good job on that. I know that maybe that doesn't make any sense to anybody, but you see a lot of action figures just really overly muscled. And Grayson is more of like what Batman should be, which is more of an athlete. You got to figure that Dick Grayson was a circus performer, a trapeze artist, and those guys aren't. They're strong, they're incredibly strong, but they're lean. So even though this is a bulkier version of him in this figure, they still got that more toned look to him than the ripped, like you'd see in like some of the Superman figures, where, you know, it looks like if he just flexes, a vein is going to explode on your face and it's going to be terrible. So I really like the way that they got across that he is very physical, but without making it like disgustingly, like, you know, Mr. Universe Arnold back in the 70s kind of look. So let's just take a quick look at his articulation. He does have a ball jointed head, so we've got some decent. Now mine, for some reason, is good one way, but doesn't really want to go the other. So we can get this quizzical look here. He's got down, not a lot of up. So down to there, a little bit of up. Of course, we can do the full Exorcist. He's got ball jointed shoulders, so we can go out. He's got a swivel at the bicep. He's got single jointed elbows, and then he has a rotation here at the glove and a rotation at the wrist. So we got a lot of movement there and really well sculpted in. As you can see, he's got the Batman-esque gloves on here. Really, really nice job they did on the sculpting of this figure to kind of hide as much articulation as they put in. He does have an ab crunch as well. He does have an ab rotation. He does have T-jointed legs. Now, being as kind of bulky as he is, he doesn't get a whole lot of movement there. He's got really nice movement forward, as you can see, and really nice movement back. Now you can see here we've got another cut here at the thigh, so we've got rotation there. We do have double jointed knees, which is really nice, and while it's the norm for some other companies' toys, it's not a big thing you see with DC, so it's nice to see that. And then we've got boot rotation here, and then we've got a really nice ankle all the way around, and then some rocker movement. So it's got a lot of articulation. And like I said, the sculpting really hides that articulation very well. So you still get the very statuesque look that you want in your figure for display, but with the ability to get a lot of posing out of it as well. Kind of the best of both worlds, because you have those two types of collectors. You have the people who would like it to be as statuesque and awesome as possible, and then you got the basically the dynamic guys who want to have the ACBA articulated comic book art. They want to have their figures posed punching each other, and they want that to look as natural as possible. So they found a really great balance here with the sculpting of this and keeping the articulation, so you're kind of making both sides happy. Me, myself, I'm happy with the figure. I do consider it to be a good buy. I'm really happy to have him because I'm fleshing out my Batman family. I have a representation of the three major Robins that I consider to be major Robins, which is the first three, which is, of course, Dick Grayson. The second Robin, Jason Todd, or the hated Robin, because people actually voted for this dude to die. And, of course, the third Robin, now known as Red Robin, which is Tim Drake, which is a lot of people's favorite Robin. Me, personally, I am kind of tied between him and Grayson. Now, there have been a lot of people that have taken up the Robin moniker since then, or in between, such as Stephanie Brown. Then you got Elseworlds with Carrie Kelly, Robin 3000, where he's a robot. There's a lot of different Robins thrown in there. But to my had my knowledge, the big ones are, of course, Grayson, Todd, and, of course, Drake. So, there you guys have it. This was my take on the Greg Capullo Designer Series Nightwing Series 1 figure. Of course, this is Rez the Collector. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I am trying to get videos out again. I know I've been kind of AWOL for a while, but this will be my second video of the day. Hope you liked it. Hope you'll stick around for more, and you have a very nice day.